with Messi, with Inter Miami, especially what we just saw, this 5-1 win against New York Red Bulls. We know he's had his minutes over 1,500 played now in the league alone. And Javier Masherano thinks it's time for a break.
Respecto al All-Star, no, a ver, no, que yo sepa, no tengo nada que decir. Los jugadores están convocados y no. Claramente, a mí me gustaría que la semana larga puedan descansar después del trajín que vienen, pero no es un tema mío. Sé que lo importante que es el All-Star acá ¿cómo es? En esta liga, en este país, y que yo sepa no hay ninguna decisión del club, todo normal.
Really saying much there from Javier Masherano. I think he didn't want to be too specific there. Eyebrows raised there from you, Shaq.
Talk about dancing around the bush here.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much, but I don't think Messi should play in the All-Star game. Okay, Javier. Listen, I get it. I understand. And while we fawn over Lionel Messi, his performances, he is 38 years old.
Yep.
And from an Inter Miami and Javier Masherano perspective, if the more rest he could get, the better, because that opens up those opportunities for Inter Miami. But he alludes to this, given the standing and what the MLS All-Star game means to this league, to US soccer. I'll say this. How do you think the attendance will be affected if Lionel Messi does not play in the MLS All-Star game? As simple as that. I think that kind of details the impact that he continues to have on the game in this country. And as a result, I don't see how the All-Star game goes on without Lionel Messi, despite Mascherano's concerns.
The reason I do feel it won't be affected is because of the opponents. It's the Liga MX All-Stars, and it's in Austin. I just think it's going to sell out either way, but certainly the sponsorship dollars will not be the same without Lionel Messi. And I think that's the major thing here. And Javier Masherano, a coach, not wanting his star player to play in an All-Star game is nothing new on this side of the border, this side of the continent. You can go to NBA games, you can go to MLB games, you go to any type of All-Star game, the Pro Bowl, NFL All-Star. They don't want their players to play. The players don't want to play. They don't want to risk injury. We just saw literally the MLB All-Star game. Clayton Kershaw pitches 2 outs. Yeah. And Dave Roberts, the National League coach, is like, get out of here. His player, you're done. Night's over. Nobody wants their star player to play in this type of environment. Why would Javier Masherano want 38-year-old Messi, who's got a lot on his plate, to play in a game that to him is meaningless?
Right.
I mean, think about all the things that he's done this year. He's played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. He's played in the Club World Cup, okay? He's missed a ton of games because of national team, and he's missed games in league play because of injury, and yet he is still, right now, to date, the MLS Golden Boot leader. And he's the reason that Mascherano has a job, like literally. He is the guy who comes over because he is Messi's friend. Messi confides in him, brings him over, and he's the reason he has a job today. And I say this in the best way, because they are winning in Miami. You want to keep it going, so why would he want a star player to play? I completely understand.
I mean, it's called All-Star, so you got to have Messi. He's the biggest star of all, you know, like you have to, especially because it's not only Inter Miami that pays Messi's salary, it's the whole league, you know, they all chip in, so you must have Leo Messi. And if Javier Mascherano is so concerned about the minutes that Messi has played, well, he has the authority to rest Messi in some matches. I mean, we just saw the highlights.
Matches.
Yeah, we just saw the highlights, right? At the 60th minute, Messi scored his first goal. By then, it was 4-1. I was at the game. The game was pretty much over. So you as a coach can say, Messi, sub. But the problem is that Messi always wants to play.
Of course.
Remember that video in 2015 when Luis Enrique was coaching Barcelona and he's like, sub Messi. And Messi refused to leave the field. So that's the problem that Mascherano and all the managers face. Because if you ask Messi, you want to play the All-Star? I'm telling you, he would say, you know what? Yeah, I want to play. He's just, he's a kid, you know. He wants to have fun. He was born to play this sport.
Yeah. He just has to be careful, though. He has to be smart at this point of his career. 38 years old.
True.
And there is that question of, if he gets injured, would you rather him not play All-Star or play All-Star, get injured, and miss a significant time here in league play, which we know that club teams prepare way ahead of time, and they know exactly when Inter Miami is visiting them, and we know what that means with record-selling crowds and everything. Speaking of Messi and friends, not only Javier Masherano, as you mentioned, but Rodrigo De Paul making his way too here. It was a very busy week, and it wasn't necessarily a surprise to see one more friend added here to the roster. 31 years old, we know the career that he's had at Atletico de Madrid here, Herc, and we know the success that he's had at the national team level. What do you make of this move?
Well, there are two trains of thought here. One would be what it means to Inter Miami in Major League Soccer. Inter Miami, you get a player that is one of the world's best central midfielders, two-way players, legs that you desperately need, a player that Messi confides in, and a player that'd be very useful for your team in actually winning games in a great period of his life, 31 years of age. And also, if you get Messi's bodyguard on the field, well, you probably increase the likelihood of Messi staying with Major League Soccer, which is instrumental for Major League Soccer. They need to make sure that Messi's here for the long term. They need to make sure he's here for the 2026 World Cup, for the opening of that new stadium down in Inter Miami, a step in the right direction. That is one.
Yeah.
Win for Inter Miami, win for Major League Soccer, because you could potentially land Messi. I don't know if it's a win for the Argentine national team.
Great point.
That's a good point, yeah.
There seems to be a trend, and why you can make an argument of Argentina, why they won the World Cup. Some of those players weren't playing in Class A type of teams. They were still in Europe. They were still competing at the highest of levels. Well, he's one of now many players making an exodus back to the Argentine First Division. He happens to be one of the biggest players that they have. Not that they're short on central midfield options, but Paredes just came back to Boca. You have McAllister, you have Enzo. You're banking on those players staying fit, staying sharp, and that Rodrigo De Paul won't get lost in the shuffle of the Miami life and lose that edge a year out from defending a World Cup title.
What do you think, Jose?
Rodrigo De Paul, there are two faces to him. One is the player that we see at Atletico de Madrid. Not so great, by the way. Last year, he wasn't great. But every time he wears the Argentinian national team, he's another player. He's so complete. And I think he's perfect for Leo Messi. The chemistry they have built, it's good. So it's a good addition for Inter Miami. Yes, with Rodrigo De Paul, they're closer to reaching their goal, which is winning the MLS Cup. Yes, but let's be honest. They are signing Rodrigo De Paul because they want to sign Leo Messi.
Of course.
So basically, that's it, you know. You want Messi to feel comfortable, so you want to sign another friend, as you said, Cristina. Well put it. He is not just a friend, he's a great player, but also a Messi's bodyguard on the field. Mm-hmm. We have seen that with the national team. So that's what I find trouble, you know. They're signing Rodrigo De Paul not because he's a great player. They are signing him just because he's Leo Messi's friend.
But you could make that same accusation about any number of Inter Miami's kind of major signings, and credit to them, maybe more to the point, credit to Leo Messi, and to your point, and Rodrigo De Paul maybe hasn't had a great last 12 months, but you could probably see the exact same about Luis Suarez, about Jordi Alba, about Sergio Busquets, and they come in, and because Messi understands the role that they play, certainly in his game, how that role is crafted to Inter Miami and fits in with MLS, success in MLS, I similarly have no doubt about De Paul's fitting in and success at Inter Miami. You as Herc alluded to, you could even say the same about Javier Masherano. That has Lionel Messi's fingerprints all over it. This no different. All have worked. We are still a little way before Inter Miami lift that title, but right now they're odds-on favorites. You just don't see this being any different.
Just one thing, Shaka. How do you define success for Inter Miami? Isn't it like winning the MLS Cup?
As I said, we're still a few months out from that. We're still a few months, but they played well.
If I may, just one thing that gets lost in I mean, Shaq, you played in Major League Soccer, is it seems to me like Inter Miami is doing whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
Because how many DPs can you get?
I was thinking exactly that.
And Shaq, we've been around long enough where it was the Galaxy who was accused of doing that. But this is a team that's blatantly publicly been punished for breaking laws within Major League Soccer. Now, I'm not saying they're breaking laws. I'm saying allow teams to spend, allow teams to get better, get rid of some of these stupid mechanisms. We saw what Inter Miami was at the Club World Cup, surprised all of us.
Yeah.
We also saw what LAFC was, and now it's circumstantial, I believe. You know, they got dealt a bad hand, had no home games, but when you have a $1.6 million salary cap versus the rest of the world, it doesn't add up. Help these teams help themselves. And it seems to me like Inter Miami's helping themselves a little bit more than most.
So this is my first day back from vacation. I'm very glad that I'm coming back to Futbol Americas, and I had the opportunity to be in Miami for the week. And of course, I flew out of Miami International Airport, and I didn't know that the stadium was literally right there. You see the terminal exits, and the stadium is right there. So to me, what?
You fly out of Fort Lauderdale, or
No, she's talking about the new stadium.
Oh, sorry. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Said the new stadium.
the new stadium.
Yeah. Sorry. I do tell him to correct me on air if needed. We do have that kind of relationship. But all right, what I was saying is that to me, it's such a clear business plan that they have in mind for tourists.
Yeah.
For anybody really who was so used to going to Fort Lauderdale and is now quite literally in Miami, but I mean, you know the area very, very well. To have it right next to the stadium for journalists, for fans, it's fabulous. You could go to the game and you can fly out an hour after the game, which is already risky. I wouldn't do it.
If you make it to the
That's
airport
just me.
with
If
that
you
traffic.
make it to the airport, no, but it's right there.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
not even kidding. It's 5-8 minutes too. It's truly impressive. Just the vision that they're having when it comes to even the location of their stadium. So.